right, parents, first off and foremost, thank you. Okay, thank you for sharing your young people with us. We know that this particular program is, it's 3 hours a week minimum, which means it's a big commitment. And we understand the commitment that that takes on the part of your families and your mom and dad taxi service, amongst other things, right? And so we know like your time and your attention could be spent elsewhere. And you guys are choosing to spend it here. And so thank you, right? Please know we understand and recognize the commitment that it takes on your part to help these young people do what it is that they do, right? Especially on those mornings that they're like, I'm just too tired, I want to sleep, or I had a hard day at school and I don't want to show up. And you're like, nope, you made the commitment, you're showing up anyway, right? All right, so I'm Regina Nixon. I'm the director for the organization. This is Dr. Josh Bennett. He is your college prep program manager. We don't go for very formal around here, so Regina and Josh, right? Yeah. Dr. B is okay too. So we are the college prep program, and this is our college prep program mission statement, right? When we started this program back in 2011, the students got together and crafted this mission statement. So this is not our organization mission statement. This is not our teachers, right? This comes from students, who some of those students are your current teaching artists, which is pretty cool, right? But what does it say? We are dedicated and passionate about our commitment to music. Is everybody in here dedicated and passionate about your commitment to music? Yeah, right? We demonstrate leadership through mutual respect and by giving back to our communities, right? And that's what we do here at PCM. We set an example for teamwork, honesty, and trust. We make our program a safe place where we can make mistakes and learn from them. And we always say, fail and fail big, right? This is your lab, right? You get to do the science experiments of music in here. So when you are in rehearsal, I don't want you to think like, oh, it has to be perfect. Try it out. What's the worst that can happen is that it sounds horrible, right? And maybe you learn something not to do. But even in that experiment, you find one note or one phrase that's good, right? You can put that in your toolbox for later. So fail and fail big, right? And be courageous and believe in yourself, right? This is what we believe in our program and what we try to enact every time that we step foot in the building. And you should try to do it even when you're at school, right? We believe in it so much that it's on the back of your t-shirts when you get t-shirts, right? So what is the organization's mission statement? Our mission as an organization, as a nonprofit community music school, our mission is to unleash the power of music in every individual that we serve by providing high quality music education experiences that are affordable and accessible, right? So when we're here, we want to make sure that you have access to the best quality music education that we can provide, and we try to keep it super affordable, right? We have a vision, right? Our vision is to be a leading provider in after-school music education. We want to positively impact students, provide access and opportunities for music experiences that will help make students college and career ready, be a resource provider, and be a national leader in creative youth development. And how do we do that, right? With a lot of help, right? As a nonprofit community music school, I just want to let you guys know that basically what we spend on this particular program is upwards of $200,000 a year, right? And that's because we have all of these amazing teaching artists that are working on behalf of your young people. As you walk around the building, the instruments, the gear that is available to them is kind of like mind-blowing. And as musicians, we all say like, man, if I would have had that when I was a kid, right? Yeah, right? Well, and some of you have, right? Which is pretty cool. But we can't do it by ourselves. So our program partners, the Virginia G. Piper Charitable Trust, this program is recognized by the national and funded by the National Endowment for the Arts, the Phoenix Office of Arts and Culture, the Country Music Awards Foundation, the Berkeley City Music Network, Arizona Commission on the Arts, Arizona Community Foundation, Thunderbirds Charities, the Herberger Foundation, U.S. Bank, Diodario, Cox Communications, and the Floyd and Mary Ramsey Audio Recorders Scholarship Fund of Arizona, right? These are just a few of our sponsors. We get a lot of individual donations as well. I would like to give a special shout out to Via Cheery LLC, which is the owner of this building, who allows us to utilize this space at a fraction of market value, and is also a donor and supporter. And the reason why is her children were a product of community music schools, and she knows the value of what that meant for their development as people, right? Not just as musicians. So special thanks to those folks, because without their help, and without your help too, we couldn't do this, right? We couldn't charge enough tuition to cover the cost of this program. It would be too cost intensive for the families. We don't want to do that. All right. So we have some core values, right? And you guys have heard these before. Be courageous. Whoa, I have to go back. I hit something. It's a safe place. Make mistakes. Teamwork, honesty, and trust. Dedication and passion. All right? Be a leader. And so what we want you to do is we want you to follow all the safety guidelines, right? So what does that mean in COVID time? COVID time, that means you got to wear your mask unless you're playing a wind instrument. Do we have any wind players in here? Saxophone, clarinets. And we want to make sure that you are following those protocols, right? If you're eligible to get the vaccine, like think about doing that, especially if you're a wind player or vocalist. That being said, make sure that if anyone in your family is not feeling well, like stay home, right? You can remote in. If you have a temperature, we're going to ask you to like not be here, right? And then we're going to have you sanitize your stations, your instruments before and after, right? Okay. The next thing that we want you to do is we want you to take care of the building, right? This building is a wonderful building, and we have a couple of like guidelines. So like if you have trash, where does trash go, do you think? Yeah, in the trash can. Does it go on top of the keyboards? On top of the pianos? In the pianos? No. Yes, it has happened before, right? Okay. Do we want you to, all trash from the food court, right? Which we don't really have a food court, but we do have a gym, and that's where you can eat your lunch, right? Make sure that if you see the trash is full, like who do you think you could tell? Instead of just dropping the trash on the floor. You could tell me. Chances are that wouldn't help a lot, but you can always tell the front desk, right? And they'll make sure that it gets taken care of, right? How about be respectful to the gear that's in the building? That is an expectation, right? We want you to take care of it. We want it to stay nice for a lot of years, right? And a lot of this musical equipment is very sensitive, and it's also very, very expensive. So we want you to make sure that you're treating it appropriately, and we're going to teach you how to do that. And then you can teach other people how to do that. And if you see somebody not treating it appropriately, what do you think you can do? No, tell them, right? Tell your friend, like, hey, go ahead and try, taking your cord out of the amplifier like this instead of like this. Be nice about it, but remember, this is not my space. This is not Josh's space. Whose space is this? It's your space as students, right? You got to take care of your own space. You got to take care of your own gear, right? And then we want you to make sure that your teaching artists, that you treat them nicely, because they're here and they're awesome. And they have a lot of stuff to teach you, right? So if they're talking, try not to talk over them. If you're an ensemble and your ensemble directors are talking to you, try not to play over them, right? Stop the noodling, right? Because that happens a lot. I know, like you got instruments in your hand, you want to play, right? We don't want to shout though. So be nice to us, you guys. Be nice. All right. There are 4 things that you have to commit to being in this program. How many? 4. Okay, the first is that you have to commit to being a part of the rehearsal schedule and performance schedule. Why is that? Because making music is a team sport. If you don't show up, what happens to your team, right? You need to make sure you show up. Playing music is a team sport, right? You all have a role to play in your ensembles. If you are not there and you're the only keyboardist, what happens to the ensemble? It doesn't have a keyboardist. And sometimes that can be really hard to play, right? Now, if you're sick, stay home. If you have something going on at school, then you have an excused absence, right? But if you just feel like not coming, that's not a good enough excuse. You have to make the commitment, okay? The second is you have to commit to doing homework. Not a lot of homework, just a little bit, right? But sometimes in your music theory classes, you may have a worksheet or two. Commit to doing your homework, okay? Commit to completing your student application, which most of you have already done, and all your forms. If not, Stacy, raise your hand back there, Stacy, will be contacting you. If you get an email from Stacy, please read the email, because it's Stacy's whole job is to, I always say, like, her job is to herd cats, you guys, right? Both the students, the parents, and the teaching artists. It's a tough job. Musicians are not always great about, like, practical things, okay? So we want to make sure that we have all of the paperwork that we need to keep your students safe, as well as track their progress from year to year, right? And then the last C is commit to practicing your individual ensemble parts and be a good team member and come ready to play, right? So that means if you have a song and your ensemble teacher says, hey, I want you to learn that part, like, don't blow it off and not learn that part. So the next week in rehearsal, guess what you're having to do? Learn the part, right? Not play together as a group. So how is our program designed? We have ensemble, theory classes, enrichment classes. Those are things like audio production and songwriting, and then performance. This program is specifically designed to provide a pipeline of college and career preparatory training with critical skill sets in music performance. And we've been really successful. It mimics on a small scale what's going to happen if you go to college as a music major. Go ahead. And what have we done? To date, 99% of our students, we've only had one that got a GED instead of, actually two that got GEDs instead of graduating high school. Both of those folks were working and supporting their families. 85% of our students go on to college, and they have earned over $3.2 million in scholarship offers, which is pretty cool, right? Now, does that mean you have to go to college to be a music major if you're in this program? Absolutely not, right? But it does mean that we're still going to help you be college-minded. Now, how many of you are in 4th grade? Raise your hand. Okay, great. Welcome. 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th, 8, 9, 10, 11sies, 12. Yeah, okay. So every year, you guys, we have a cohort of anywhere between 5 to 15 seniors that we really work with. And so whether or not you choose to be a music major or you choose to go into engineering or agribusiness or whatever it is that is your life passion, we're going to help you figure out the best way to do that. What are the schools you want to apply to, applications, interview preparation. If you do choose to be a music major, then helping you get ready for your auditions and audition preparation as well, right? And we're going to be really honest with you. Like, if you are a student whose GPA is like a 2.5 and you're like, I want to go to Juilliard, I'd be like, let's go ahead and maybe take a couple of gap years and figure out, like, what are some of the barriers for your successes, right? Okay, and so families, we will have those honest conversations with you, but we're also going to have meetings about, like, what should you be doing your sophomore year? What should you be doing your junior year to help you get ready for those experiences, regardless if you want to be a music major or not, right? Okay. Something else you should know, in 2017, we were awarded a National Arts and Humanities Youth Program Award, which recognizes the top organizations doing after-school arts education and creative youth development, right? So it's like the country's highest honor for after-school arts programs, which is pretty awesome. And it was specifically this program that won that award, right? So what we know is that the program works, right? It's been vetted by the National Endowment for the Arts and the National Arts and Humanities Youth Programs Award, as well as just like we've had 6 full tuition scholarship students to Berkeley. Like, we know what we're doing, right? But we gotta, who does the work? It's not us. Yeah, they do the work, right? The students do the work. But we have some pretty cool program partners that help us do it. The first is that we are a Berkeley City Music Network site. This is a site of a community of 47 different sites throughout North and South America who come together to share best practices in creative youth development. As part of the Berkeley City Music Network, we also have the opportunity to scholarship in 2 students to the 5-week summer performance program called Aspire every summer. Chris Hudson, go ahead and stand up right back there. That is woo-woo, that is last year's student who did get to go to Berkeley 5-week summer performance program on full scholarship. So Chris, we'll have you talk a little bit more. We're actually going to try to get Chris and Lord, who was our second scholarship recipient, to come on and do a podcast so that you guys can talk about your experience, and we're going to make you all watch that, right? Because it'll be awesome. Okay, but they're not our only partner. Berkeley's awesome. It's a fantastic partnership. We get a lot of best practices through them. A lot of the work that we do is modeled off of what they do at the college, but they're not our only partner. We have a great partnership with Paradise Valley Community College. Some of you are enrolled, or some of you have already taken the class that we offer through Paradise Valley Community College for music theory. So as you progress in your music theory, you'll take level 1, you'll take level 2, you'll take level 3. After that, you can actually take the college level course on full scholarship while you're here at PCM and earn college credit, right? Which is pretty cool. And even if you don't get an amazing grade in that class and you have to take it over your freshman year, like, the one thing that really gets in the way of a lot of scholarships, and for those of you who are back there teaching artists, right? I wonder if you would agree with me. The one thing that gets in the way of a lot of scholarships for music majors keeping that academic scholarship is those music theory classes. Yeah, Kieran's saying yes, right? He helps teach music theory at the collegiate level at Scottsdale Community College. And I'm sure you had a lot of people struggle as music majors going into those courses, right? So we want to give you a strong foundation so once you earn those scholarships, you don't lose those scholarships, right? We have a partnership with Grand Canyon University. Fervor Records is one of our community partners, as well as Pyramid Studios. These folks are actual, this is what they do for a living. They're music industry professionals. Guess what? They come in and give talks. They bring special guest artists in. They're going to give you an opportunity to go to the studios and take a tour and learn how to record and do engineering and all that kind of cool stuff. It's pretty amazing. And then Musicians Institute and our newest partner, Arizona State University, who just started a popular music program. We got a couple of those students right back in the back there who are teaching with us. This year we were able to scholarship 2 students to their summer intensive as well, right? So there's lots of opportunities and lots of community partnerships. One of our biggest ones that we have coming on deck is La Frontera Impact. This is not an educational partnership, but a health and wellness partnership. Now you may be asking, why, right? And the reality is that we know that young people are struggling right now. The last year has wreaked havoc for all of us. But I think it's been especially challenging for young people. And so families, in all seriousness, if your student needs to talk to somebody, if they need to gain some life skills or some tools in their toolbox on mindfulness, on resilience, on dealing with hard things, La Frontera will be here. We have referrals that we can actually give to you. And they have programs that they can get your family therapy, group therapy, teen talks at no cost, right? All you have to do is fill out the form at the front desk, and we'll make sure that they get in contact with you. They're also going to be on campus occasionally throughout the year to do life skill classes, like how to fill out a job application, or what should your resume look like, right? And then on a more serious note, they're going to also be talking to students and parents separately and teaching artists separately on subjects like drug abuse prevention and substance abuse prevention, because this is something that plagues our industry, right? Suicide awareness and prevention, because this is also something that plagues our industry. So we want to make sure that your young people have the tools as they go out and interact with other musicians, and they see things and hear things, and not just musicians, right? If they go to high school, if they step into college, like they're going to be confronted with this stuff on a day-to-day basis. And we want to make sure that they have the tools that they can navigate that successfully. All right. Social media. All right. Tony, raise your hand back here. Do you want to come up and say anything? All right. So, Tony is our social media representative. That means that everything you see out on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, is all through her. So, how do you best tag PCM? Chris Hudson's really great at it, by the way, you guys. If you need a lesson on how to do it, talk to Chris. But it is simply hashtag PCM rocks, right? So if you do something really cool and you post it on your Instagram story, just tag us in it, especially if you want us to share it out. And why would we want to share it out? Anybody have an idea? Chris, why do you tag us? What was that? Totally, right? You never know. Chris, why do you tag us? So we can share it too. I don't know if you guys know this, but like part of your job as a musician is to build your audience, right? How many of you have aspirations or hopes of being a professional musician one day? Raise those hands super high. I want to see them. Okay? Now, for you to be a really great professional musician, it means that somebody has to pay a ticket price to see you perform, right? Who is that person? It can't just be your mom and dad your whole life. It doesn't work that way, you guys, right? Josh, you're a professional gigging musician. What do you have to do in order to be a professional gigging musician?
Hey everybody, quick editor's note here. I realized as I was going through this that I actually did not mic myself up on stage during the actual event, so from time to time I will interject and make little recordings where I basically explain what I said when I was up on stage. In this case, what I said to Regina's question was that as a professional musician in the 21st century, you basically have to hit the pavement, and that means posting on social media. That means tagging yourself, your colleagues, the people that you're playing with, and tagging all the different institutions and groups that you might be related with or tangentially related to, so that you can build that network. Because when you tag PCM, the Berkeley City Music Network sees that tag. So that's why you want to tag PCM, your school, your teachers, etc., etc. All right, back to the show.
All right, so parents, share, tag us. Students, share if it's appropriate. If it's you telling a joke on Instagram or on TikTok, we don't care, right? But if you're doing something cool musical, like please share it and tag us, right? The other thing is like we have our audience, some of our audience has been with us for years, and they follow you guys. They are actually part of like your fan clubs, right? And they want to know what's happening with you musically. They're invested, and so like let us help you get that information to them. All right. The other two social media channels that we have, so we do have Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. The two that aren't on there is Twitch, right? Which you're going to be getting a lot of information about Twitch. Twitch is a streaming platform, and all of our concerts last year we did through Twitch, right? But this year, we're going to do them through Twitch as well as having live performances. Whoop, whoop. Everybody give us a whoop, whoop for live music. Whoop, whoop. All right. We're very excited about live music, you guys. Very, very excited. All right. But in addition, we also know, like, you have family that doesn't live here in Phoenix that can't come to your concerts, right? You can send them the link. They can log on in and watch your concerts from wherever they are, which is pretty cool. The second one is YouTube. Once all of that concert is recorded, guess where it goes? On YouTube, right? So if you ever want to go and look at like previous concerts or whatever, take a look at YouTube, right? Okay, cool. So we are a creative youth development organization. What that means is we truly believe that every single person that walks in the room, whether you are in 4th grade or 10th grade or 12th grade or you're 50, brings with them assets and strengths and musical ideas that are valid, right? So we're going to be asking you your opinions a lot, and we really want to hear what you have to say. It also means that this is a safe place, that all of us here are mentors, and that we actually train on how to be mentors. We're going to promote positive skill sets. So, like when you go to the restrooms, there's going to be signs up, and it's like how to have healthy competition, right? It also means like that we have behavioral health partnerships so that if you need to talk to somebody, that's available. Families, if you're struggling with something, we don't always have those answers, but we do have community partners that can help, right? So just really communicate with us, because we know that your kids are not going to be amazing at making music if everything else in their life is going crazy, right? And we want to make sure that they are the best that they can be, right? Okay, cool. Checking in protocols. You all saw it this morning. We're going to continue to stay masked as long as the CDC tells us to, because that's what guidelines we're following. The Delta variant is causing a lot of havoc. So if you have an outbreak at school and you're quarantined, don't come to ensemble that weekend, right? Okay. And we want to keep everybody as safe as possible and keep the ensembles going. We don't want to have to shut down, right? So we're also going to check your temperature when you come in, right? Oh, that's a big one. What? Wash your hands, right? We have so many places in this building for you to wash your hands. Do it a lot. In every room, there's sanitizer. Use the sanitizer. Every room, there are Clorox wipes. As you're cleaning, you get ready to play the piano, guess what? What are you going to do first? Clean the keyboard. And then when you're all done, guess what you're going to do? Sanitize and clean the keyboard, right? Cool. Parents, just so you know, every room has an air filter and a fan, and every student who's a vocalist will have their own microphone. And we also have these really cool UV lights that I call like the glow stick of death. If any of you are Marvel fans out there, I'm a big Marvel fan, right? So we want to make sure that, and we're going to be using those several times throughout the week to just sanitize the classrooms as well, okay? Cool things. Every year we get to make an album of original music. Who gets to make the music? The students do. How amazing is that? So in your songwriting classes, in your audio production classes, just because you're cool in writing music, right? Any track that you want to be on the album, you can turn in by December 15th. By when? By when? Stacy will be sending you reminders. Josh will have it in the newsletter. I'm going to text you. So please, when are you going to get it in by? And now, how many of you think like, oh, I'd like to have a song on the album? Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. There's a newsletter. It's pretty cool. And I'm not just saying that because Josh writes it. It really is pretty cool. Not only does it give you like things that are coming up for PCM, if there are scholarships or auditions for things that are happening out in the community, that's in there as well. And he has a really great article every single week about music, right? Like just a deep thought about music, which is pretty cool. If you don't read the newsletter, you're not going to know about any of that stuff. So what day does that normally come out? It normally comes out on Saturdays. So just check your inboxes. Are you going to hit delete? What are you supposed to do with it? Read it. It's important, you guys. Read it, okay? Upcoming concerts, announcements, make sure you read it. Okay, text messages. Whew. Yeah, if we can't read your emails and you don't respond to smoke signals, most of you do look at your phone. So you can simply text. Right now, you can get your cell phones out and you can text. And this is not on here, but the @ PCM CPP 21 to 81010. Okay, so it's @ PCM CPP 21. And again, the phone number you're going to put in is 81010, right? That way you can receive text messages. And there's going to be things like, hey, the performance is this weekend. Call time at 1 o'clock. We'll provide pizza. Bring water, right? Those are important reminders to get, right? We're not going to spam you with like 100 different things unless it's audition time. I promise. Okay. The next one, email. Please read your emails. Please, 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 please. And again, people you're going to get emails from is the info@pcmrocks.org, especially if your teacher is sick and they're going to be online, right? It may be from Stacy, again in the back. If there's a performance, Stacy sends 4 notifications of performances a month out, just so that you have those all the time, right? So if you get it, or it'll be from Josh. So you want to make sure that you are checking your email, right? Because what if there's an amazing opportunity for an audition for something else going on and you don't check the email, right? Chris Hudson, when you went to Berkeley, how did they communicate to you about cool things? Through email. Guess what? If you don't check your email, you don't get to do the cool things, right? And sometimes we have some very cool things. Sometimes it'll be like, hey, we have 10 tickets to this backstage concert opportunity. Who would like them? And if you're not checking your email, guess what? Yeah, sad, right? So if you are going to be gone, like let's say you're going out of town and you're going to miss this one weekend. What can you do? Email. Should you tell us in passing as we're passing in the hallway, hey, Regina, I'm going to be gone? No, because I'm not going to remember, right? Should you tell Josh as he's sitting at his desk working on the computer? No, because he was not going to remember either, right? Should you just tell the front desk on your way out the door? No, because they might be on the phone or something, right? So what's the best thing that you can do? Email. And when you email anything about your schedule or absences, please email Josh, Stacy, and the front desk. So that way we can make sure to tell your teacher, right? Okay. What's an excused absence? An excused absence is if you're sick or if you have something to do for school. Now, if you have, and you can let us know about those things ahead of time in that email, right? I have a choir festival. I have a band competition, right? Let us know. We want you to be involved, okay? If you don't let us know and you get more than 4 absences, guess what we're going to do? We're going to call you. And especially if you are on scholarship, then that tells us that maybe you're not taking it very seriously and that scholarship can be used for someone else, right? So what is our magic number? How many misses? 4, right? Any more than 4 and we're going to have a conversation. Any more than 2 in a row and we're going to call and check in on you just to make sure everything's okay, all right? Earplugs. Let's talk about your ears. What is the best tool that you have in your toolbox as a musician? Your ears. Jack, you're a drummer. Every single time I see you in the ensemble room, you have ear protection. Why? He has to protect his hearing. It is the best tool that we have as musicians. I don't know if you guys know, we play rock music here. There's a lot of amplification. It can get loud, right? So, do you have to spend a ton of money on good ear protection? No. What do you suggest?
I suggest talking to us because we can actually get you some earplugs for, what is it, $3 to $25.
$3 to $25, right? How amazing is that? You want to protect your ears, especially for all of you who are young. Like, I did not do that this ear, right?
All right, folks. So this was another interjection that I had, and this one's really important, and it means a lot to me because I actually deal with some hearing loss. So just as Regina was saying, I too have some hearing loss, and specifically in my right ear, I have tinnitus. And sometimes it can actually be debilitating. I don't just mean that, like, the ringing in my ear, like, oh, it sounds real awful. No, like, I have to, like, sit down and stop doing what I'm doing because to me, it sounds like it's just deafeningly loud in my right ear. On top of that, I have also had some loss as far as upper frequencies. I can't quite hear things quite as well as I used to. So when we tell you that we want you to protect your hearing, we really do mean it, because I have experienced what it's like to have hearing loss. And once you lose that, you kind of don't get it back. So protect your hearing and think about your colleagues' hearing as well, right? Here in a bit, you're going to hear Regina kind of make a comment on what I said. And basically what I said was, like, guitarists, like, you have a volume knob. You don't need to crank it as loud. Like, please trust us when I say we can hear you just fine. All right, back to the show.
Not to call out guitarists, but trust us guitarists, we can hear you. Okay. The other thing is, like, your in-ear pods, like iPods or in-ear buds, right? Those can be a little bit more damaging than your over-the-ear headphones, right? So parents, just, like, think about that holiday wish list, like maybe over-the-ear headphones. I know iPods are super cool. I love mine, but I also try not to turn them up too loud. Okay. All right, parents. We have a closed deck rehearsal, right? This comes from swim coaches, right? Because I will tell you, like, my daughter's a swimmer, right? And her coach said to us one day, you are the parent. Your job is to be your student's number one fan. It is our job as music educators to coach them. Well, they said swim coaches, right? But it's the same thing. Drop them off. We will take good care of them. We will make sure that they get to where they're supposed to go. We don't want you in the rehearsal room. We've had some parents in the past who think that their musical expertise allows them to help coach the ensembles. That's not your place, right? We're the coaches. You guys are the biggest fans. Parents, can you handle being your student's biggest fan? Yeah, right? Okay, so closed deck, no peeking. The other thing is, we want you to be really amazed when you come to the concerts, right? And if you're sitting in the ensemble room, like, it's not going to be anything exciting for you when you get to the concert. And trust me, after this first semester, for those of you that have never experienced, raise your hand if you're new this year. Parents, families, everybody raise your hand if you're new. If this is your first time in the program, number one, welcome. Everybody, let's go ahead and give these folks a big round, right? But number two, like, you're going to be amazed at what these young people can do, right? We don't want to spoil that for you. Performances. Wow. Attire, what do you wear, right? Talk to your ensemble. Your ensemble will kind of pick, like, what it is their theme is going to be to how they want to dress. But typically we say have some concert black, right? Now, concert black can be a nice black shirt and a pair of nice black jeans, nice black slacks. It doesn't have to be a formal, like, tuxedo, right? We're a rock and roll program. Chances are we're going to dress more like rock and roll than we are going to be dressing like an orchestra. I'm just saying, chances are, right? There are going to be some gigs that we're going to ask you to wear a PCM t-shirt. You can get your t-shirts for $10 at the front desk. If you can't afford $10, just go to the front desk and say, I can't afford $10. And if it's legitimate, don't just say that just because, right? We are a nonprofit, you guys. We'll still make sure you get a t-shirt, okay? So you just need to make sure that you have a PCM t-shirt and a pair of jeans or a pair of shorts, okay? What we don't want are, like, super short, ladies, super short skirts, because all of the performances are on raised stages, right? And I always say, like, that's not the type of show we're giving, okay? So make sure that it is appropriate. Families, help us out with that, right? That being said, like, let your inner rock star shine. What you should do is dress to where you feel confident and comfortable, right? Confident and comfortable. If there are special performances, like, oh, we're going to have a singer-songwriter showcase, how do you find out? Yeah, you read the email. Thank you. Gold star. Kiss your brain. Oh, so smart. Okay. Read the emails. Okay? Read the newsletter. If those two things don't work, expect to get a phone call. Right? Okay. Streaming opportunities. If a concert is being streamed, how do you find out? Read the email or the newsletter, right? Yes. Okay. If there's an open mic night, because we are going to have open mic nights this whole year out on the patio, it's going to be amazing. How do you find out about those? Read the email, right, or the newsletter. Perfect. What if there's a performance scheduled for everybody? How do you find out? Read the email. Guess what? They're also in the handbook. All of these dates that we have for these performances, the open mic nights, they're in the handbook. How did you get your handbook? It's in the email, right? You guys seeing the theme here? Okay, so all of you have the entire dates for the performances for the entire school year. We're not going to deviate from that because we know you guys get busy. Put them in your calendars now, okay? As other performance opportunities show up, like every once in a while, we get asked to play. Hey, we have sometimes even a paid gig somewhere, right? Guess what? Where are you going to find out about it? Yes, okay. Performance tips, parents, things you should know. Take pictures. Please take pictures from your seat. Don't come up to the stage. Okay? Take pictures, share on social media. What are you gonna tag? Hashtag PCM Rocks, right? Okay. If your student is done, is the performance done? Stay for the entire performance. This has been an issue in the past that as our first groups are done performing, the parents leave. And then who's left at the end groups? Nobody, right? And they deserve an audience too. So make sure you stay for the entire performance.
Okay, yeah. So this is one of those things that I really want you to think about just how much we work together as a team, as we were kind of talking about earlier, right? And so one of the things that I think we should think about is that when we go to these concerts, when we put these concerts on together, whether you're in 5th grade or 12th grade, we're doing this in solidarity. We're doing it as a community. So when you leave the concert early, you're kind of turning your back on the rest of the team. And plus, you got to really think about it. Like, the older kids sat through the younger kids' concert, and they're like their biggest fans. They cheer them on. So we want to help each other out, in that spirit of camaraderie and solidarity by hanging out for the entire concerts. And plus, at the end of the day, you get to see live music, and how cool is that?
You should have fun at these performances, you guys. They are concerts. Is it okay to clap along? Yes. Is it okay to sing along? Yes. Is it okay to get up and dance if you are so moved? Yes. Right? The more you hype, the better your kids are going to play. Period. We've seen it time and time again. One of the cool things about going to the 5-week summer performance program at Berkeley is people actually hyped up, right? Chris, when people hype up, how does it make you feel on the stage? It makes you feel good, right? And all of a sudden you're in this zone. But if your audience is just sitting there, you're like, hello? Is this on? Is anybody listening? Right? We don't want to be that way. We want to hype up. So parents, your job is to hype up, right? Clap, especially if your kids start doing this. Don't just sit there, right? There's nothing worse than that feeling, right? So you want to be engaged. You want to get up. You want to move. You want to clap, right? Okay. Cool. Private lessons. If you are engaged in private lessons, awesome. Even if they're not with us, that's great. Do it. If you're not and you're interested, let the front desk know. We will help you. We do have scholarships available. Student fundraising. Every student, because we are a nonprofit organization, we do spend a ton of money on this program that we don't get back. So every student is tasked with raising $100. 10 people, $10. It's not until April. You've got a long time to get your list of 10 people that you want to talk to about that. We're just warning you now, so you're not like, oh, I didn't know about this, right? but it's also in your handbook, which was in the email. And Stacy was also going to email you prior to that, so you have plenty of notice. But I want to give you notice now. 10 people, $10. The other thing that we're going to do for a fundraiser this year, and more for practical purposes, is that we have a lot of students who have a break between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. Guess what's going to happen between 12:30 and 1 o'clock? Lunch, right? So let's talk about that real quick. Can you bring your lunch? Yeah. Okay. Where can you eat your lunch? In the gym, right? Out on the patio as it gets a little cooler. In the lobby over here. Those are 3 places that you can eat your lunch, and it's okay. Should you eat your lunch in the ensemble room? No. Why not? A lot of expensive equipment, and there's no food or drink allowed. How about in here? No. Why? Because no food or drink allowed in here. How about in the audio production room? No, right? Should you guys put cups of coffee on the piano? I'm looking at Michael Gloria's picture right now. Yeah, Michael totally did that and spilled coffee in one of my pianos. All right. Should you put water on the pianos? Sodas on the pianos? No. Should you put pencils on the piano? Why? Actually, what happens, and it's so weird, like every single time we tune pianos, the piano tuners pull pencils out of the pianos. And it's because like when you put them on the lid and then you push the lid up from the keys, like that pencil goes like into the piano, right? So no pencils on the piano. Like, and if you do, put them like where the music goes, not down on the keys. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. But we are going to have, back to lunch, you guys. I got sidetracked talking about pianos. It's easy to do around here. We get sidetracked talking about instruments often. We want to make sure that your kids have something to eat. So we're going to have a snack bar. So if you can, as one of the things that we can do as families, the 4 things that you could always bring that we will always be able to use. Like, so if you go to Sam's Club or Costco or whatever, small water bottles, right? The small water bottles are always great. Sanitizer, Clorox wipes, obviously, those 2 things are important. And then anything that would be good for the snack bar, okay? And the snack bar is going to be super low cost, so like $1.50, but they can get like cups of noodle soup, pizza pockets, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, granola bars, chips, applesauce, that kind of stuff. So it's not going to be like amazing food, but if they're hungry, it will help fill the void until they're done for the day, if they forget their lunch or if they just don't want to pack their lunch because they're kids, right? Okay. But they can go ahead and bring their lunch. Lunch is going to be over there. Cool. So if you are interested in volunteering, just let the front desk know. We'd love to have some parents help us run that snack bar. 12:15 to 1:15 on Saturdays. Okay? All right, gear. Again, we have a lot of gear. Part of what you're going to learn in ensembles is how to be nice to the gear. 2 things that you want to pay attention to a lot is these amplifiers get very cranky if you don't shut them off when you plug your instrument in, and then shut them off before you unplug your instrument.
Okay, everybody. So I'm going to interject here. This part got a little lost in translation as far as audio is concerned because, well, we kind of mimed it on stage. But basically, when you're unplugging the cable, make sure you're actually grabbing the cable from the connection head, not from the cable body. If you grab from the body and yank, it can actually tear the cable out, and you can like leave the like 1/4-inch connector in the amp. Basically, it's not a good look. Yeah. All right, back to the show.
The other thing that is going to be a super good benefit to you is you are going to learn how to wrap microphone cables, right? Any cable. And the reason why this is important is because there's wires in these cables. And if you create like a small ball, like a baseball, what do you think happens to all of those wires in that cable? They break. And then is your cable any good anymore? No. And, you know, you're lucky because right now Like, we're buying your cables for you. But as musicians, later on, those cables cost like $30 to $50 each, right? So we want to make sure that not only are you treating our cables nicely, but that you learn how to treat your cables nicely so that you're not having to take that expense later. And your ensemble directors and your regular classroom teachers are going to teach you all about wrapping microphone cables the right way. All right? And then, okay, we have 2 other things to talk about, and then we're ready for pizza. Okay? 5-week. Chris, what did you have to do in order to go to 5-week? Where? First, you have so let's be clear. To be eligible for the 5-week program, you have to be in the program for 1 year. Okay? This is so that we know, like, you have good work ethic and that you have good behavior, because we can't just send anybody to Boston, right, for 5 weeks. We got to make sure. The second is that you have to be above the age of 15. So if you are in 4th grade, are you above 15 right now? Nope, you're not allowed to go. Can you start getting ready to go? Absolutely. Okay. I've had students who have started in 4th and 5th grade who are like, yeah, I'm going to go to 5-week, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to earn a scholarship to Berkeley. And you know what happened? They did. Okay. The third thing is that you have to audition. So if you've been in the program for longer than a year, if you are above age 15, then you have to audition. And you're auditioned here at PCM first, and if you pass that audition, then you audition for Berkeley. All right, okay. If you pass that audition, you still need to know that there's only 2 scholarships available every year. That means it's a competition, right? So part of what we're going to be teaching you is healthy competition. Competition's good. It can make us better. But if it's not done right, it can really tear us down, right? So we're going to teach young people, all of you guys, about, like, competition is a good thing as long as it doesn't, like, get in your head, right? Cool. And so if you're interested in that, please let us know. All right, last 2 things. Here we go. We are a state tax credit qualifying organization. What does that mean? If you give a $400 state tax credit, if you are a unmarried family, or if you are a married claiming family, up to $800, then you'll get a dollar-for-dollar match on your state tax credit, okay? That means that if you have a refund, you'll get more of a refund. If you owe the money to the state and you pay the $800, you will owe $800 less to the state, right? It's a fantastic way to give a charitable gift because you're getting it back dollar for dollar, which is awesome. I think you have until April 15th to be able to do that on your state taxes. You can claim it for the previous year. This year was kind of crazy because of COVID, so it was like May 15th or whatever. But just know that that's a good way to help the organization and get that dollar-for-dollar match. Now, this is different than your school tax credit. So if you do your school tax credit, you can still give to your school, and you can give to PCM. And then there's a foster tax credit. So there's actually 3 tax credits that you can give. Okay? Cool. And then the last thing is that we just want to thank you again, right? Really, this program can be totally transformational in the life of a young person. But more than that, it's just a good time, and it's good community. And when we talk to the kids and we say, like, what's your favorite part about the program? They say being with other young people or other kids who are just as passionate about music that I am. Because oftentimes in their schools, they might be like the one kid who's like super engaged in music at a super high level, right? And sometimes that can be a lonely place to be. So this gives them a community. So welcome for those of you who are new to us. Welcome to our village. We speak music here. And enjoy the year. Anybody has any questions or concerns, please know that Josh and I have open doors. You can contact Stacy. You can let the front desk know. If something's not working, we're going to be willing to work with you, okay? Does that sound good? You guys ready for some pizza? All right. So I'd just like to thank all of our teaching artists. Teaching artists, can you go ahead and stand up if you're in the room? Autumn's here too, right? So it's pretty cool. We actually have several of our teaching artists who are now alumnus from our program. So, like Elena, I'm going to pick on you a little bit just because you're right back there. But Elena is one of our alumnus. She's in her senior year with jazz performance at ASU, but then just started her second degree in popular music as well. But before that is a 2018 alumnus and has been in the PCM program since you were what, like 10? Right? Scholarship recipient and also auditioned for Berkeley, but like chose ASU because ASU is great too as well. So you're going to see a lot of our alumnus coming back and helping, right? Which is pretty cool and I think a great testament to the program as well. All right, everybody, we're going to meet you over here, have some pizza, and then Olivia and Autumn are going to be running an open mic. So if you guys want to play, where's Autumn? She's coming. Hold on. Hey, there's Autumn. Hi. And Olivia. Hi. Hi. They have a sign up for the open mic. So if you want to play, sign up right over there. Oh, and by the way, rumor has it that some of your teaching artists may play some music as well. Oh. Right? Yeah, I've been hearing them. Like, it sounds pretty good. I'm just saying. All right, let's get some food, you guys.